Hi guys, so to make this project, you're going to need a canvas, paint, color of your choice. I am repurposing this canvas. Don't make me feel bad. It was actually going to go into the trash. I had nowhere to keep it. It had its moment in time in my home, so it was time to give it a new life. So instead of going into the trash, I decided to repurpose it to make this teacher gift. So because I am using an inexpensive paint from Walmart, it doesn't have full coverage. So I did have to give this canvas 2 coats to completely cover the artwork that was underneath. If you have chalk paint, that works much better, and usually 1 coat will do the trick. But it was okay. I went ahead and gave it 2 coats. I did give it time in between to let the first coat dry before I came back with the second coat. Once your board is completely dry, now on to the fun part, which is decorating the board. So I'm going to use some wood rulers, pencils, crayons, glue stick, and some erasers to decorate. So this was not my original idea. This was actually inspired by a Pinterest image that I think Dollar General posted. So I just went ahead and made some changes to make it my own. So the first thing I'm doing here is I'm just placing my rulers on the board. I'm not hot gluing them yet. I just want to know exactly where they're going to sit so I can then personalize it. So I did cut my teacher's name using white Oracle vinyl. So here I'm trying my best to center it, and I was very proud of myself. I did it on the first try. Anybody who works with vinyl knows that's a little hard, so that was great. So once I place my vinyl and I'm satisfied with the placement, go ahead and buffer it into place. Remove the transfer tape. If any of the pieces start to lift up, just press it down using your fingers, and then I recommend also buffering on top just a second time. Once it's completely into place, let's continue decorating our board. Now I'm going to use hot glue to attach my rulers. First, I add the hot glue to the board. Because my board measures 8 by 10, the rulers, I'm placing them on the 1-inch mark and on the 11-inch mark. That way, my rulers are glued down on the same exact placement. Make sure to press your rulers down into place as you're hot gluing them. I do recommend to use the silicone fingers or a silicone spatula just to give that a good press. I got really lucky that the glue did not seep out through the holes of the rulers. So here I'm removing any excess glue that seeped out from the top. Now I'm going to take one of these pencils and I'm going to hot glue it right underneath her name. Because it really wasn't a name brand pencil, I decided to add the hot glue on the side that had the text. The text read CVS number 2. And then I add that right underneath her name, again giving it a good press. Now to add the rest of the decoration. So here I'm just playing with the placement of my items. I went back and forth with the crayons, which you'll see here in a little bit. I tried to add them, but I felt it was just too much. Wherever I added them, it just didn't look right. So at the end, I decided not to use the crayons. But here I'm showing you a couple of examples of what I did with the crayons in case you decide to add them. But for me personally, I thought it was too much, so I eliminated them completely. So now I'm going to start hot gluing the rest of my pieces. For the glue stick, be careful, make sure that you add hot glue. But making sure that the text is facing the correct direction. For the eraser, it was an Office Depot eraser and I didn't want that text to be in the front, so I added the hot glue on that side. Now to the pencil top erasers. Now I'm going to add a hanger to the back of my board. So I'm going to use this thick jute to create my hanger, but use what you have. If you have ribbon, use ribbon. So I cut about 20 inches of the jute, and then as you see here, I made knots on both ends of the jute, and the purpose for that is for the jute to not continue to unravel. Then I take a paper punch and some scrap paper and cut two of the same shape. You don't need to have a paper punch. You can cut squares. The purpose of the paper is just for you to use to press the jute right into the hot glue, so it has a nice complete look on the back. Now it does get extremely hot, so see here you see me using my silicone spatula to give that a nice press. Now I didn't do it on this video, but I do recommend that you trim the jute so it looks, you know, neat in the back and not lopsided like it currently does on my video. The next part is optional, but I take 2 different color ribbons, and the ribbon does measure about 1.5 inches of the thickness of the ribbon. So I take this blue and the yellow and I cut about 8 inches, but my recommendation for you is to cut 10 inches or 12 inches of ribbon, and you'll see in a little bit why I recommend that. So I'm cutting 1 of each of the colors, and then I'm going to ducktail the ends of my ribbon. To ducktail your ribbon, all you have to do is fold it in half, take sharp scissors, and start cutting from the spine up to create that ducktail look. I then take my ribbon and I place them on top of each other, and I'm going to tie them to the left corner of my sign by just tying it on the jute twine. So you'll notice here that I struggled a little bit with tying my ribbon, and that's why I recommend, instead of cutting 8 inches, that you cut 10 inches or even a little bit more, just to give yourself that extra for you to really maneuver the ribbon. So I did have a little bit of a challenge here doing this, but it worked out at the end. So here I'm just tugging and, you know, just moving the ribbon to where I want the ribbon to sit and how I want it to look. So I don't do it on this video, but after I corrected my ribbon here to look the way that I needed it to look, I added a little bit of hot glue to the top piece there of my ruler and then pressed the knot of the ribbon into the hot glue. That way it would always sit in that one corner without moving. And then finish it off by writing your message on the back of the board. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.